Hello, everybody. Welcome to my crib. So I am Josh Elliott, and I am the only one here today because as much as I love reviewing like big budget movies with Brett and Molly and Abby, like Wonder Woman, the movies that I tend to enjoy going to see are more of the low budget indies, like Oscar movies. Like when Star Wars The Force Awakens was coming out, I was going and seeing Room and Spotlight. Like, I'm that guy. The movies that I tend to see aren't usually the types of movies that they would go and see, and so I'm usually left as the only one who's seen them, but I have to express my opinion about these because I'm a YouTube reviewer. So today, I'm going to be reviewing The Book of Henry, which most of you guys probably haven't heard of. Or maybe you have heard of it, and you genuinely want to see it, which, in that case, good for you. It's getting, like, panned by critics, but, like, I honestly kind of enjoyed it. So The Book of Henry is directed by Colin Trevorrow, who directed Jurassic World, of all movies, and he's going to be directing the 9th Star Wars episode, so this is kind of a random movie in between to do. The film stars Naomi Watts, always good, Jacob Tremblay, who was in Room and was amazing, and Jaden Lieberther, I think is how you pronounce his name. I don't really know, but he's a kid actor. He was in St. Vincent and Midnight Special. He's good. Oh, hi Dodie. Hi. Do you want to be in the review? This is Dodie. She's our kitten. Say hi, Dodie. No? Okay, you went down? Okay. So, Book of Henry is about a young boy named, guess what? Played by Jaden Lieberther and his brother Peter and his mom Naomi Watts. I can't remember her name. Basically, Henry is a 12-year-old boy who is like super advanced. He is very mature, he is very wise, and he basically is almost just as much his own parent and Peter's parent as Naomi Watts is. And she's not a bad parent, but because of Henry's maturity, she doesn't have to try as hard at being a parent as most parents do. Her and Henry have a very codependent relationship, and it's very interesting. Their next door neighbor is this young girl who's Henry's age, played by Maddie Ziegler. I can't remember the character. Ow, Dodie. Anyway, Henry believes that she might be getting abused by her dad, but her dad is like the police chief. Henry tries to help this girl on his own, but it's difficult. And so he writes all of these notes, and he basically has his mom and his brother help him after certain things happen that prevent him from doing it himself. So this movie, it's getting panned by critics. It has like 23% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, people hate this movie. I really understand why they don't like this movie, because all in all, this movie has a lot of problems. There are a lot of like messed up moral things wrong with this movie, but its heart is in the right place. It is a really sweet movie with a sweet message to tell. This movie made me cry twice. And I'm a sensitive person, but that is very rare that a movie can make me cry. Like, Room made me cry, Inside Out made me cry, and then La La Land and Manchester by the Sea, like, almost made me cry, but they really didn't. Book of Henry made me cry twice. And so that is a huge accomplishment. And both of the scenes had Jacob Tremblay in them. His performance, he just has a very mature understanding of situations from a child's point of view. But it's almost so much more sad because he's just old enough to really understand what's happening to him. That's where I think he excels as an actor, and he's one of the best parts about the whole movie. Naomi Watts' performance is also amazing. It becomes better as the movie goes along. It starts out pretty weak just because the character is so odd, but she gets so much better with the role as the movie goes along, and it's really interesting to see her go along that path. Jaden Lieberther, I've always found him to be good. He has yet to deliver a phenomenal performance, like Jacob Tremblay and Room say. I can't, like, fault his performance. He does a great job as Henry, but it's just, he's not the standout performer. If you haven't seen this movie, go to the time at the bottom of the screen and hear my final verdict and my score, and then you can maybe decide to go and see the movie. Here's the biggest spoiler of the movie. Henry dies of a tumor halfway through the movie. He's the lead character. It's like full-on psychoing it. Like, he's the lead character. About like 1/3 through, he just starts getting this ringing in his head. Like, the camera starts shaking, and at that exact moment I went, the movie's gonna end with him dying, isn't it? He's gonna die at the end of this movie, and like the mom's gonna have to learn to be a good parent now. That's what the movie's gonna be about. And so yeah, it does get predictable, but I was actually very surprised when he doesn't die at the end of the movie. He dies halfway through it. He starts having this seizure, and he goes to the hospital, and I'm like, okay, the rest of the movie's gonna be him in the hospital. But no, he's in the hospital for like 10-15 minutes of screen time. He has like his final goodbyes with the characters, and then he dies in his mother's arms. That is brave. So Henry dies. He leaves behind these recordings of himself telling his mom what to do and how to carry out this plan of rescuing the girl, which I couldn't take seriously because it just reminded me of 13 Reasons Why. Like, it really did. Like, she pulls out this recorder and plugs it in, and he says, "Hey, it's Henry." And this is where we really get into problems with the movie, because problem number one, it's that Henry is way too spot on with timing in these recordings. He knows her so well to the point where like he knows exactly what she's going to say at certain moments. He will say something, and then she will say something, and then he will respond to what she said. It's okay to do that a couple times, but it is way too consistent that happens, and I found the recordings difficult to believe. Here's where we get into the main problem with this movie, and this is the reason why critics hate it. I can tell you right now, this is the reason why critics hate it. When the mom and Peter find the notes, Peter says, "Hey, I think Henry wanted us to kill the police chief so that we can rescue the daughter." And it's a funny moment, because obviously that's not true. Obviously Henry was wise enough to not want somebody like that to be killed, or want his mom to do that. So the entire time that the mother is like going through with this plan, and she's listening to these recordings of Henry telling her what to do, all I was thinking was, what is the plan? The whole point of it is that it's made to look like she's going to kill him. She literally purchases a gun and everything. And Henry like says, "Buy a new car so you can have a better getaway car." And so the whole point is that it's made to look like she's going to kill him, but obviously she's not, because the movie views him getting killed as a joke. And then it gets to the climax. And no, Henry's plan was actually for his mom to kill the guy who is abusing his daughter. What the hell? Not only is that so out of character for Henry, he's a good kid. He should know whether someone is worthy of dying. Then there's the fact that the movie doesn't even take that seriously. Like I said, it views it as a joke. There is a punchline about it. He says, "Hey, I think we want to kill this guy." The mom's like, "No, Peter, we are not killing the police chief." People in my theater laughed when that happened. And so the movie clearly views it that as something that shouldn't be taken seriously, and then it relies on the audience actually taking it seriously for the climax of the story to work, and to just go along with it throughout the entire story. Why? Naomi Watts' character, she goes along with it. She just listens to Henry, and she just goes along with this murder plot, and is actually about to kill the guy. Okay, so she doesn't kill the guy. She's in this treehouse for Henry and Peter, and she's pointing a gun at him, and then she sees these pictures of Henry and Peter. She finally realizes she needs to make her own decisions, and she can't just keep relying on Henry like she did when Henry was alive. It's her time to be a responsible adult. It's a good character arc, I will admit that. It's a great message to have, but murder was not the way to go there. It really wasn't. If you have a movie that's all about a kid that dies and a mom learning to become a better mom, there should not be a murder subplot. Here's my final verdict. The Book of Henry is a movie with a lot of problems. There are a lot of moral issues at the end, and the second half of the story is definitely the weaker half, considering it has all of these messed up, weird things and unrealistic situations that happen. That being said, this movie's heart is definitely in the right place. It has a lot of good things to say. The actors are amazing. Maddie Ziegler is kind of wasted, but I mean, her performance is fine. So its heart is in the right place. It made me cry twice. It is such a sweet movie. It's a movie with a great message, just some really weird ways of getting to that message. So I'm going to give this movie a 6 out of 10. So Tell me what you think of the review. Tell me if you want to see Book of Henry, or what you thought of the Book of Henry. If you agree with me, if you agree with the critics that hate it. Please like and subscribe to High School Film Nerds. Check out more reviews. I'm going to be reviewing The Beguiled soon, which was really good. So, peace out. Bye.